Alright, time once again to talk about some weird movies made by America's Hat. It's been about 4 years since I did one of these, so to ease everybody in, I thought I'd start with something simple. A movie about a giant killer brain monster. The Brain is a 1988 horror flick that, at first glance, almost seems like an 80s remake of a 50s sci-fi movie like The Fly or The Blob, but nope. Instead, it's more of a loving tribute to schlocky 50s monster flicks like Night of the Creeps, The Stuff, or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now, this one isn't as popular or beloved as those other movies, but it does have a small cult following. And I started off my other Canuxsploitation-A-Thons with movies about a giant bug, giant rats, and a giant snake. So sure, let's start this one off with a movie about a giant brain. Ooh, directed by Edward Hunt, huh? Oh, I'm familiar with his brother Michael. While The Brain may sound like the title of a 50s sci-fi flick, unlike a 50s movie, this one doesn't wait until after the halfway point to show you the monster. Before we get to that, though, we open on a TV talk show called Independent Thinking, hosted by a psychologist named Dr. Blake.
Oh, what a wonderful audience! What enthusiasm!
Yeah, hurry it up, pal. Mr. Dressup's filming here in an hour. Dr. Blake is played by David Gale of Reanimator and Guyver fame, so you just know he's gotta be trustworthy.
Today's young people lack confidence. Drug abuse, alcoholism, teenage suicide have all taken an horrendous toll.
Some things never change. Dr. Blake's right to be concerned about teen drug abuse. This girl has a bowl full of cocaine in her room. And I think she's tripping balls right now, too. I gotta give this movie credit. It doesn't waste time getting off to a pretty wild start. We got teddy bears bleeding out of their eyes, monster hands coming out of the TV, the walls moving closer together, giant tentacles that bleed honey mustard. This whole opening could almost be a lost dream sequence from a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. All it's missing is Robert Englund saying some one-liners. And it turns out what this mom really needed to be concerned about was her daughter hallucinating a giant tentacle and stabbing her to death with a pair of scissors. And as for you, prepare to be brain dead, bitch. Looks like some little girl won't be getting that Conair Clear phone they wanted for Christmas. She's as dead as a lump of coal. And it's bad enough she's dead. Did you also have to zoom in on her boogers? Well, that was a pretty crazy opening. Where do we go from here? Ah, yes, of course. The suburbs. Somewhere in this neighborhood, Stephen Dorff is trying to open a portal to hell in his backyard. And wait a second. This can't be Canada. There's Christmas decorations, but no snow on the ground. Is this gonna be one of those Canuxploitation flicks that pretends it takes place in America? Let's see. Meadowvale. Okay, well, apparently Meadowvale is a suburb of Mississauga, Ontario. So maybe this does take place in Canada. One thing's for sure, this school is giving me some serious Degrassi vibes. The 80s. A time when the only thing more over-the-top than a killer brain monster were the righteous mullets. Our lead character seems to be a bit of a prankster since he blows up a toilet using a block of pure sodium. Yeah, who needs a cherry bomb when you can cause hijinks using the periodic table? And if you were still wondering just where this takes place...
So you think you're in America, do you?
Last time I checked.
Well, you're not. You're in high school.
Okay, so... is this supposed to be America? That just confused me even more.
So you think you're in America, do you?
Last time I checked.
I thought this was America! Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America!
Oh, wait, this must be America. See, look, American flag. Anyway, our main character is Jim Magilewski, who is apparently supposed to be smart.
Mr. and Mrs. Magilewski, it is true that James has one of the highest IQs in our high school.
Oh yeah? Well then how come he still hasn't graduated yet? He's in his 20s. Because of his troublemaking, the school threatens to suspend Jim unless he agrees to see Dr. Blake at a place called the Psychological Research Institute.
I don't need to go to this guy, Blake. Everyone knows he's a flake. You can't make me.
Jim, Dr. Blake wouldn't be on TV if he wasn't good.
Yeah, just look at Dr. Phil. You know, maybe Jim should go see Dr. Blake. He's a grown man who still acts like Bart Simpson. He also can't seem to catch a break anywhere else either. Not only does his girlfriend Janet refuse to put out until college, which again, he should already have been in for a few years, but this cop also stands way too close to the camera.
Evening, Officer Marks.
All right, Magilevsky, come on, let's move it. It's past curfew.
You know the rules. No overage sex in whatever country this is supposed to be. The next day, Jim goes to the Psychological Institute wearing his finest Canadian tuxedo. And with all the festive decorations, I might as well do this. Hashtag The Brain is a Christmas Movie. While there, he meets Dr. Blake's assistant, played by the voice of Beast from X-Men. No, seriously, that's the voice of Beast from the 90s X-Men cartoon. Forget him, though. Dr. Blake's other assistant is a lot more attractive. And apparently Jim agrees with me since he stares at her ass on the way out. Yeah, I don't think you need to monitor his brainwaves to know what he was thinking there.
Dr. Blake.
Hi. I've seen you on TV.
We have HBO. They play Reanimator on there a lot. You know, despite the evil brain monster trying to control his thoughts, this experiment doesn't seem so bad. Apparently Dr. Blake's TV also gets HBO.
What do you see now?
Well, there's 2 of them.
2 apples?
No, they're not apples.
No, they're more like cherries. Hey, ever wanted to see a Skinamax remake of A Clockwork Orange? Well, here you go. And I really hate it when a weird brain monster messes with my boner, too.
You can go now.
What the hell happened to me? I'm not some kind of guinea pig, you know. You're supposed to be helping me.
Okay, look, Jim, you blew up a toilet at your school, and so far your punishment is you got to see some tits. You want to can the shitty attitude for a second? And I'll tell you who else needs an attitude adjustment. Topless Apple Lady.
It's apparent you and I will no longer be able to work together.
Fine with me. But wait till I tell people what's really going on around here.
Well, I see nothing bad happening to her. Yeah, talk about brain food.
That's food for thought.
Yeah, sure, that works too. And it turns out this thing's more than just a brain, it's a fiend with a face. Well, there's only one way to follow up a scene like that. Hashtag The Brain is a Christmas Movie. And hey, nothing says the reason for the season quite like driving into oncoming traffic while tentacles come out of your steering wheel, and a giant brain monster triangle wipes its way at you. I'm sure he's fine. No, seriously, he's fine. He even walks away from an explosion like it's no big deal. Oh man, what a rough day. I gotta get myself some ketchup-flavored chips and hickory sticks. Jim goes to tell Janet what happened, and once again, hashtag The Brain is a Christmas Movie.
I went to that PRI place and they did all this weird shit to me. They did all this stuff. There's apples and baseballs.
And boobs. I didn't look that long though, I swear. Unfortunately for Jim, he's still hallucinating tentacles, but at least the movie shows what this looks like to everybody else. Alright, Jim, you know the rules. No hentai daydreams after 5 p.m. You're going back to see Dr. Blake.
You can't just take him away!
Yes, we can. We have a release form signed by his parents.
That's a receipt for the onion rings you just ordered. Damn, Jim's stuck back at the Psychological Institute, and this time he doesn't have any boobs to look at. How the hell's he gonna get out of here?
Let me sneak in. You could sneak out. They'll think I'm you. They'll never find me in here.
Now, if you're wondering who this guy is and why he's so eager to help Jim escape, I don't know. We don't see him again after this. And Jim could have just waited since his friends also come to try and bust him out. But first, he's got to take another look at the brain.
Its increased size, the brain waves we're sending out can be even stronger.
I actually really like the design of this thing. It reminds me of a giant version of those Madball toys from the 80s. Speaking of 80s, while running around the Institute, Jim gets chased into a boiler room. Because come on, it's an 80s horror flick. They had to include a boiler room at some point. And wait a second, I keep seeing signs around here for sodium. I wonder if that'll be important later. Oh good, Jim found his friends. Now they can finally leave.
Oh shit.
Okay, once again, regarding the design of this thing, I like how it stands on its spinal cord. How does it move? Does it slither around like a snake, or does it hop around like a pogo stick? There's a giant brain monster that I think might be from outer space or something. They never really explain where it came from. Before Jim and Janet are able to get too far, they're pulled over by... oh, this guy again? I swear, it's like he's the only cop in this entire town. Okay, not anymore. Luckily for Jim, this guy forgot he had a gun on him earlier.
Magilevsky killed him!
chopped his head off!
Also, I took his axe from him, which is why I'm holding it. It totally wasn't me, okay? As far as the plot goes, Dr. Blake is using the brain to control people's thoughts through his TV show. I think so he can beat Phil Donahue in the ratings? I don't know, the details don't really matter. One thing's for sure, Dr. Blake has the most harmful program this side of Videodrome, and he really doesn't like it when people don't watch his show.
How many times have you asked your husband to watch this show, and he has refused?
Come on, he already watches Grey's Anatomy with her, isn't that enough? Okay, apparently it isn't. The Mississauga Chainsaw Massacre. Well, one of Jim's teachers just got murdered, so I guess that means he won't mind if him and Janet hide out at the school. Alright, after we get these cuffs off, you want to play some basketball in the gym or something? Okay, that works too. Unfortunately for Jim, apparently this actress had a no nudity clause. Well, for this movie at least, she's been naked in other stuff. It doesn't matter though, Jim was thinking about Apple Girl anyway. Even more bad news, Janet watches Dr. Blake's show and ends up ratting him out to the cops.
Janet, stop it.
Stay away from me.
Hey, come on babe, I wasn't that bad, was I? Oh man, all this because I blew up a toilet. Mom and Dad are right, I do need to get my shit together. Jim steals a car, leading to a medium-speed chase sequence that goes on for so long they end up driving into winter. Eventually Jim's able to trick the cops into thinking he's dead by pushing the car off a cliff, although I'm not sure why they think that would kill him since he was able to walk away from this no problem. In any case, Jim better put a stop to Dr. Blake's latest broadcast before he turns everyone into the kind of mindless zombies that made Toddlers and Tiaras a hit.
In a few minutes, 10, 20 million people are going to see our show. And then you can transmit your brain waves into them.
Then our plan will be complete. Whatever it is. World domination, I guess? Well, that does it. Jim is gonna stop Dr. Blake, and nothing is going to distract him from his mission. Well, okay, almost nothing.
Vivian.
Oh hey, boob girl, glad to see you're back. I think I had sex with my girlfriend earlier, but I didn't really see anything.
You have a dirty mind.
Ah, come on, I'm just having fun.
You can't possibly win. You can't even control your own mind.
Yeah, I can totally make your boobs go away. I am gonna save them in my spank bank for when this is over, though. I gotta admit, the last part of this movie has a little too much of Jim running around the same locations again. I guess they needed to get this movie to 90 minutes any way they could. Quick, Jim, run down the stairs. Okay, now go back up and we still need to fill more time. I am curious what the hell's going on here, though. Is the brain keeping Janet in Jeffrey Dahmer's meat locker? It's a good thing Jim's there to save her. Okay, so she's definitely fucked. And to make matters worse, Dr. Blake is about to go live with his show.
We all deserve to celebrate tonight. For tonight is our first broadcast nationwide.
And I'm not gonna say what nation that is, but if you squint really hard, it might be America. You don't know. I already mentioned Videodrome, but this climax where Jim confronts Dr. Blake in the middle of his broadcast does kind of remind me of James Woods going on stage and killing that guy at the end. But instead of shooting him, he just does this.
Decapitation!
Alright, nice of David Gale to do an impression of his character from Reanimator. So, was Dr. Blake an alien, or was he a creation of the brain and not the other way around? You know what? It doesn't really matter. I'm watching a movie called The Brain. I don't need a logical explanation here.
He's the one who was responsible for all those murders. I never killed anyone. I'm just a high school student.
Okay, you're lying about at least one of those things, pal. Alright, now that Dr. Blake's dead, time for Jim to free his girlfriend and get the hell out of here. Looks like they're home free. Oh, right, the brain, I forgot. I do like how this thing keeps getting bigger and bigger the more people it eats. And if you're wondering how it's able to get around so fast, it helps that it's got a team of people pushing it. Also, I keep seeing signs for sodium in this place. I wonder if that's gonna be important. Well, you know the first rule of filmmaking, if you introduce some sodium in the first act, you damn well better use it in the third. Okay, I think this is the first monster on the show to ever be killed by high blood pressure. Alright, not only did Jim's little prank earlier help him save the world from the brain, but he's also getting accepted by some Ivy League schools.
Looks like Princeton wants you too, Jim.
Really?
Too bad Mr. Woods can't see this.
Yeah, it is too bad.
Haha, he was brutally murdered by his wife. What an asshole. And even though the movie's almost over, might as well do this one more time. Hashtag The Brain is a Christmas movie. Well, looks like everything worked out fine, but this is an 80s monster flick, so I'm waiting for it to sequel bait. Okay, so I guess the brain is still alive? Doesn't really matter anyway, there's no sequel. Which is weird considering even Rock and Roll Nightmare got one eventually. You might expect a movie called The Brain to fit into the so bad it's good category, like an 80s version of an old Ed Wood flick like Plan 9 from Outer Space, but don't let the intentionally schlocky title and plot fool you. This is a movie that knows exactly what it is and just decides to have fun with its wacky premise, instead of worrying about things like making perfect logical sense. Like I said, the movie's something of a tribute to 50s monster movies, but instead of being an out-and-out parody that's constantly winking at the audience, instead it takes a ridiculous idea that you might see in a 50s flick and adds in some 80s-style monster effects and boobs. Maybe because it's Canadian, I can also detect a hint of Cronenberg here too. If he directed a remake of The Brain from Planet Arris instead of The Fly, it might have turned out a little similar to this. While the brain effects are fun, the chase sequences of Jim running around do get a little repetitive by the end. This movie probably would have been better if it was 80 minutes instead of 90. Also, while David Gale is entertaining as usual, the two young leads aren't really that memorable, but they're fine enough that they don't ruin the movie. Besides, where else are you gonna see the voice of Beast from X-Men chop a guy's head off with a fire axe? Well, that's all for now, but I still got 3 more Canuxploitation movies to go. Until next time.
We have to, Willie.
What do you mean we have to?
I don't know.
Welcome to part 2 of my latest Canuxsploitation-A-Thon. I started off with a monster movie, so now it's time to change gears and do a martial arts action flick. Expect No Mercy is a 1995 direct-to-video action movie starring martial artist Billy Blanks, who some of you might know better as the Thai Bo guy.
Moving right into jab go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here we go.
Despite being featured prominently on the cover, Billy isn't the real mastermind behind this. That would be co-star and fellow martial artist Jalal Murhi, a Lebanese-Canadian filmmaker who, the story goes, sold his jewelry business in Toronto so he could get into filmmaking. Not only does Murhi produce and direct movies, but he also likes to star in them too, both to show off his fighting skills and maybe give himself a sex scene if he feels like it. Expect No Mercy was actually the 3rd collaboration between Jalal and Billy Blanks, but I decided to start with this one because according to the Blu-ray, it features state-of-the-art computer graphics for the time. Okay, this movie's from the 90s, so does that mean it's gonna be Jurassic Park state-of-the-art? Or Mortal Kombat Annihilation state-of-the-art? Actually, this movie's Canadian, so it's probably just gonna look like an episode of Reboot. Yep, looks like I was right. Just look at this 90s CGI. It's never a good sign when a movie starts out like a demo for Superman 64. Any moment I keep expecting the movie to start flying through rings for some reason. Oh, good. Game over. Wait, apparently now it's mist? What the hell is going on? This is actually a computer representation of a house owned by some mafioso-looking guy who's been targeted for assassination by an elite group of mercenaries. Or maybe a 90s dance troupe, I can't really tell.
Mr. Bertolucci is not to be underestimated. He's known as the Cat.
Why is that?
Because he likes to shit in a box he keeps in his basement. Weird habit, but I guess when you're rich you can do what you want. I was gonna say this is starting out like an Andy Sedaris movie without any boobs, but then, hey, we actually get some. Despite this movie being rated R though, some parts do seem weirdly censored. Shoot! For example, I'm pretty sure that guy didn't originally say shoot there. And it's a 90s martial arts action movie, so you know what that means.
Jaw!
It means we get an assload of kung fu sound effects and guys going Jaw! Listen, fellas, the guy you were supposed to be guarding is already dead. You can probably stop fighting and just go home.
Not quite. There are 3 bodyguards left on the perimeter.
Yeah, you don't get to exit the mission until you've killed all the enemies. You know, you could probably do this quicker if you used guns. Okay, never mind. A bitch slap with a bullwhip should be enough to take this guy out. The assassinations are being carried out by a man named Warbeck, who runs a martial arts school called the Virtual Academy as a front for his assassin-for-hire business. To infiltrate the academy, direct-to-video Sam and Twitch here recruits Special Agent Justin Vanier, played by Billy Blanks.
Oh, I hope he works out.
Don't worry, fellas. By the looks of him, he works out at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Incoming! Get down!
And I guess Blanks is an ironic name.
What kind of gun is that?
I never seen one that shoots bullets before. Justin's mission is to pose as a student at the academy and get proof of Warbeck's crimes, while also contacting another agent they have on the inside.
His name's Eric? Eric. He seems familiar.
He should. He's the guy producing this movie. I can see why Warbeck has so many students. His academy is at the Scarborough campus of the University of Toronto. It almost seems like he's training a Canadian version of the Foot Clan. And as for why it's called the Virtual Arts Academy, it's a mid-90s movie, which means we get a lot of really dated virtual reality sequences. You know, in picking movies for this Canuxsploitation-A-Thon, I wasn't really familiar with this one, but as soon as it got to this part, I was like, yeah, this'll do nicely. And there's a great way to train some elite assassins. Have them fight a schlubby version of the Hamburglar in virtual reality. Now, normally I'd say something here like, well, it was nice of the movie to include its own video game tie-in. Well, guess what? This did actually have a video game tie-in. This is like if the Asylum also made video game mockbusters. If you want to see people rip on the game, there's a few videos on YouTube, but I'm going to concentrate on the actual movie. That way we can see Jalal Murhi's acting skills in addition to his fighting.
Give me a ready stance. Alright, his moves are based on what you give him to choose from. 1-2, 1-2. Compilation punches, front kick. Hey! Are you trying to kill him? Get me in there!
That student was level 2!
Ever wanted to see Balky Bartokomous as the lawnmower man? Well, Eric's also friends with another instructor at the academy called Vicky, and hey, is that Laurie Holden? Oh, maybe at the Academy talent show she can sing a rendition of Chimps Don't Cry. In the meantime, though, Warbeck's got some business to conduct.
I understand that we have a deal.
Oh, we do if you can deliver what you say.
What Mr. Bromfield is saying is he wants some sort of proof you guys aren't just full of hair.
What, proof that they can assassinate people? I see this going well.
So, we have a deal then?
No, you just killed my assistant, asshole! Bromfield wants Warbeck to kill a whistleblower named Goldberg who's going to the police about his shady business dealings. Warbeck's played by Wolf Larson, which also sounds like it could be the name of a bad guy in a movie like this. Good thing Justin's on the case, and he really knows how to rock a pink pickup truck. Good work, Justin. They'll never suspect you of being an undercover agent now. How do you do, fellow martial arts assassins? And it's a 90s movie, which means they have to explain what virtual reality is used for.
Out-of-body experiences, near death, flying, scuba diving, spacewalking, passion, sex.
Yeah, speaking from 2024, you can forget about the whole martial arts assassin thing. People are mainly just gonna use VR to jerk off. That and upload videos of people getting jump scared. Meanwhile, the police are hiding Goldberg in a safe house, but that doesn't prevent the villains from using some incredibly unsubtle methods to try and find him.
From here on, it gets bloody.
Not really, they don't show anything here. Even when they kill this guy, they make sure to cover it up. What the hell is going on? First they dub over that guy saying shit, and now this? Come on, the movie's rated R, you can show some violence. While Warbeck's busy trying to find Goldberg, it's time for Justin to begin his virtual martial arts training. Hey, Billy, we gave you a shirt as part of your VR uniform. No? Don't feel like wearing it? Okay. Even if there's no mercy, you can expect plenty of murhy, since the guy even shows up as a floating hologram head. Oh well, at least it lets me do this.
My head is awesome, I tell you! Fear it! Fear my giant floating head!
The students are encouraged to be on the offense.
Remember, the more you advance, the tougher your opponent becomes.
The best students make it all the way to the Shang Tsung program. First, though, you gotta fight the Black Ninja, and by Black Ninja, I mean this generic white guy.
Is that it?
Well, that was easy. You got a tougher opponent for him, like maybe Glass Joe? Well, at least this next guy kind of looks like he could be in a Mortal Kombat game. Or at least Way of the Warrior. Oh, right, the plot. Eric and Justin realize they need to hack into Warbeck's main computer to get proof of his crimes, so they steal an access card to get in. Plus, this way they can also use the campus pool after hours. However, Vicky catches them. Oh, they're special agents. I'm sure they can handle this.
Get off me!
Shut your mouth!
Yeah, that's right. Manhandle her and tell her to shut up. Nice work, fellas. I knew it! Warbeck's been training assassins and making a crappy video game tie-in. And you might want to pay attention and make sure Vicky doesn't hit that giant alarm button and... too late.
He is running an assassination business. There is enough evidence here to put him away for 10 lifetimes.
What?
Damn, first that yoga studio she worked at turned out to be a front for a sex trafficking ring, and now this!
Now we've got the evidence, all we have to do is stroll out of here.
Oh, shoot.
And once again, I don't think she originally said shoot there. Why does it feel like I'm watching the censored for TV version of this movie? I keep expecting somebody to call Warbeck Mr. Falcon.
Damn it, Vicky, I told you to trust me.
Well, I don't know, you talk like Tommy Wiseau. I wasn't gonna take any chances. Luckily for our heroes, none of the guards in this place carry guns. That means they can just run around and beat them up. Also, like The Brain, this features a lot of running up and down stairs, but at least they break it up with some fight scenes. How are the bad guys gonna stop him from escaping? There, see how much easier it is when you just shoot people? Now all they need to do is discover bullets. Rather than kill them, though, the villains put them in VR again. Prepare for a fate worse than death. You're gonna play Plumbers Don't Wear Ties for all eternity. Alright, actually they just force him to fight more Mortal Kombat rejects.
I hate this computer stuff.
Yeah, it is probably the most dated thing about this movie, and that's including Billy's mesh tank tops.
Who do you want for their first opponent?
Who do you have in mind?
I've always favored Fango.
Yeah, Fango, or as I call him, Turkish Ultimate Warrior. Instead of the standard martial arts movie plot about a fighting tournament, just make it a tournament fighter video game. Look at this, we got samurai, clowns, Mad Max extras. This is the weirdest yet somehow most generic set of virtual fighters I've ever seen. Okay, you know what? Instead of showing all of these scenes, I'm just gonna alternate with footage from the video game.
This will hurt you. This will hurt you. You're headed for the freezer. Come on! Come on!
Good news, fellas, the game has a co-op mode. Bad news, the computer cheats like a motherfucker. Great, this is even worse than when you're playing Street Fighter and somebody pins you against a corner. Thankfully, Vicky comes to bail him out.
Abort this program.
You are making a serious mistake, young lady.
That's for also programming Bubsy 3D, you piece of shoot. Phew, good thing she got Justin and Eric out of VR. They were just about to load the entire Virtual Boy library. They better hurry though, the villains found Goldberg's safe house and are on their way to assassinate him. So how are these guys gonna kill Goldberg, with kicks or punches?
Level the entire building and get back here.
Okay, nice that they finally figured out you can just blow people up. Bromfield, however, wants to see Goldberg die himself, although considering how tame this movie's been so far, he probably won't see much. Wait, now they can show blood? Then why the hell were they censoring shit earlier? Great, not only are they killing Goldberg's police guards, but they also scuffed up Justin's pink truck.
Did you bring a gun?
Didn't you?
I can't believe you guys were parked in the middle of a shootout and you didn't bring a gun.
I was kinda hoping we could just have a choreographed martial arts fight. Don't worry, they still have a bit of that. It's just that this time the characters finally realized that guns are really useful when you want to kill somebody.
Guns don't kill people, but they sure help.
And you know what's really useful? Grenades. I'm sure he's fine. No, seriously, Eric's fine. Come on, it's his movie. He's not gonna let some namby-pamby explosion kill him. But I'll tell you who is dying.
We'll get him later. And you'll get your money later.
There won't be a later for you.
You know, Warbeck doesn't seem like a very trustworthy business partner. And congratulations, fellas, you saved Goldberg, but you let the bad guys kidnap Vicky. Now she's gotta listen to Warbeck talk.
What did I do to you that was so terrible?
You kill people.
That's true.
Okay, well, he may be a villain, but at least he's honest.
The government of this country kills people every day.
I have as much power as the government. Why am I so different?
But one thing he is not is subtle.
Who gives the government the right to kill?
God? I think not.
Why can't people understand such a simple concept?
All right, dude, I got it. Use your indoor megalomaniac voice.
You are mad.
Hey, come on. Is this the face of a madman?
Our time here is done, Damien. I know a wonderful little castle in Spain that will be perfect for our new operation.
Oh, finally moving off campus, huh? Before they leave, though, they're gonna subject Vicky to the worst hazing ritual ever.
Just hang in there, Vicky. We're coming for you.
Could you please use a different phrase than hang in there?
No, you can't!
What do you mean, no?
They've set bombs everywhere. This whole place is gonna blow.
Okay. Isn't this Warbeck's Academy? If he wants to blow it up, let him. Just rescue Vicky and get the hell out of here.
You gotta get the students out!
Just leave them. They were never gonna get good jobs with a virtual reality martial arts degree anyway. Or, okay, you can go get the bombs. They're in the boiler room. See, they can use boiler rooms in more than just horror movies. You can also have Billy Blanks fight bootleg Simon Phoenix here in a battle to see who's got the best whoopsh. See, now this is more like it. Some good old mid-90s direct-to-video fisticuffs. None of that VR green screen crap where they fight some jagoff dressed like a clown. And we finally get more blood, too. Justin's really beating the shoot out of this guy. Now all we need are some one-liners.
It's time for some steam cleaning.
Okay, now I know what Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze would have sounded like if he evaporated. Meanwhile, I think Eric is busy fighting Pirate Shao Kahn. Well, this movie had a Mortal Kombat rip-off tie-in game. Might as well include a Mortal Kombat rip-off boss. Let's see what you're made of, Eric. Okay, different fighting game, but you get the idea. Alright, Warbeck, there's only room for one black tank top in this town.
Fine. Then arrest me.
Okay, so apparently Warbeck has magic computer powers now. I thought the twist was going to be that Justin was actually still in VR this whole time, but then he puts on the VR goggles to go fight him. Now, if you're wondering how Warbeck was able to do that in the real world, good question, because they never really explain that. And my mistake, he's actually Nuclear Man from Superman 4 now. Damn it, I thought we were done with this VR crap. Nobody's buying your tie-in game. And if they do, it's just to make fun of it on the internet.
By the way, Justin, those bombs, you missed a few.
I hate it when games force you to backtrack. Look, at this point, just make sure you save Laurie Holden. She's the only one that's gonna have a decent career after this. Alright, they can't leave just yet. Justin still needs to have one last fight with Warbeck. Okay, you know what? They should have just called this movie Whoopsh. But if you're wondering what they did name it,
expect no mercy.
Title drop. Justin soon gains the upper hand, although how the hell is Warbeck even getting hit here? Didn't he just disappear earlier? Come on, do you have bullshit virtual reality powers or not?
Welcome back to reality.
Alright, that one-liner was little better, I guess. Okay, so Justin defeated Warbeck and Eric rescued Vicky. Oh, and I guess these two are love interests now. Whatever, it's his movie, he can do what he wants. Oh, and remember earlier when I said they should just grab Vicky and let the place explode instead of trying to defuse the bombs? Yep. Turns out they could have just done that the whole time. Even though Warbeck's been defeated, Eric thinks he was just the beginning.
I think Warbeck was only the first in a whole new breed of criminal. The cyber criminal.
Yeah, but instead of making assassins, they'll just try and scam old people by pretending to be a Nigerian prince. Speaking of getting scammed, check out this ending.
And now it's over.
Or is it?
Wait, what? So, was that supposed to mean they were still in a VR simulation the whole time? The hell was that? Oh well, the movie's over, so at least I don't have to watch him fight a guy dressed like a clown again. So that's Expect No Mercy, and I don't know if it's beyond Mortal Kombat, but it is probably beyond Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins, at least as far as the CGI goes anyway. I've done several movies on this show that I've described as aggressively 80s. Well, with its Mortal Kombat ripoff VR sections, fashion sense, and made-for-cable level martial arts fight scenes, this might be the most aggressively 90s movie I've ever done. As dated as the virtual reality parts are, they also help to prevent this from being just another generic 90s action flick. It was never going to be good, so at least these scenes help it to be entertainingly ridiculous. I mean, where else are you going to see the Tai Bo guy fight a clown in front of a screensaver background? It's definitely no cult classic, but if you've got a soft spot for cheesy action and martial arts flicks, this one at least isn't boring. Plus, it's got state-of-the-art computer graphics for the time. And I will give it this, it is a lot better than the video game tie-in. Yeah, whoever programmed that should expect no mercy. Well, that's all for now. Until next time. Welcome to part 3 of my Canuxsploitation-A-Thon. We started with a monster movie, then did a martial arts action flick, so now it's time to do a post-apocalyptic movie done Canadian style. DEFCON 4 is a 1985 post-apocalyptic sci-fi film that, assuming you've heard of it at all, is probably because of its awesome cover artwork, which was a staple of video stores in the 80s and 90s. And if you actually rented it, you probably found out that the movie does not live up to that cover. Well, at least to let you know right away you're going to be let down, since in the movie the title is DEFCON-4, but on the cover it's Def-Con 4. Even the title on the poster is misleading. Anyway, some opening text informs us that the movie takes place the day after tomorrow. But because this was made in the 80s, that means it's about nuclear war, instead of a global warming movie where climate change chases people around like a monster in a horror flick. It also says a new defense system has been perfected, making nuclear war impossible. Unfortunately, that defense system was made by CrowdStrike. We then cut to a NORAD satellite carrying nuclear weapons, although I'm not sure how advanced it is since it seems to be powered by a Commodore VIC-20. Anyway, the satellite's crewed by 3 people. There's Commander Walker, astronaut Howe, and a doctor, Jordan. And after several months in space, I think they might be going a little stir-crazy.
You know what I keep thinking about? I keep thinking about putting on too much makeup and putting on something real slinky, going down to some sleazy bar, picking up a bike gang.
A whole gang, huh? Wow, who knew being in space made women so eager to ride some crotch rockets?
It's a joke, Hal.
Well, yeah, so was what I just said. And hey, they let you watch porn in space, so that's something. Of course, they should probably be paying attention to what else is on TV.
Both Washington and Moscow are gripped with alarm and confusion today, with news that an American cruise missile landed in the Soviet industrial city of Voronezh, 300 miles southeast of Moscow.
I'm sure it's not a big deal. Let's see if Small Wonder's on. It isn't very long, though, before things start to escalate.
I don't believe it.
DEFCON 2.
That's not the title. Actually, the title's pretty inaccurate since nuclear alerts start at DEFCON 5 and actually go down the closer things get to full-scale war. So the movie should have been called DEFCON 1. And does the music here sound a little familiar?
All right, then launch, Walker.
We'll launch when we get War 1.
If the order can't get through, look. We are supposed to fire on our own discretion if we have evidence.
That's right. New World Pictures would later use this music in their American re-edit of Godzilla 1985, although I don't know if this one was able to score a Dr. Pepper sponsorship. Looks like World War III just started, and the news keeps getting worse.
Fuck, the stations are all disappearing.
You mean we can't watch any more porn? You maniacs! I gotta admit, this opening is actually pretty effective. Seeing the characters debating what to do and slowly realizing that there might not be anything left on Earth to go home to helps set it apart from other post-apocalyptic flicks since they usually start after this part's already happened. Although given the circumstances, the commander could be a little more sensitive.
How? Your wife is dead.
You fucker!
Whoa, easy, dude. Is this because I said your wife is dead? And if you're looking for a safe place to land, you could always try the Northwest Territories. There's not much there to nuke in the first place. Before they can make a decision, though, someone forces them to land somewhere on the east coast of North America, and they have to jettison their remaining nukes. Better hope they don't explode in the atmosphere, otherwise they might revive Godzilla. I mean, they already have the music from that movie. Alright, looks like it was a successful landing. Well, almost successful.
I can't find a pulse. Man, I think she broke her neck!
Damn, now she'll never get a chance to pick up that bike gang and have them take turns getting some road gash. What's more, I don't think they're alone. Oh, come on. That was the worst shave and a haircut I ever heard. Try again. Well, good news. Looks like some people survived the nuclear holocaust. Unfortunately for you guys, I don't think they're friendly. But despite everything that's happened, at least Hal still makes time for some quotable lines.
Welcome to Earth.
Great job, Hal. Now say that's what I call a close encounter. Later that day for night, Hal goes looking for Walker. Good news, you found him. Bad news, he's currently getting sliced into Montreal smoked meat. Nice throw there, Hal. I'll give this movie some points for being different. In the 80s, most post-apocalyptic movies were Mad Max knockoffs set in deserts that featured bikers and punk rock types, while this one is set in the Canadian wilderness and has characters who look like they shot squirrels in their backyard even before the nukes came down. And if you needed further proof this movie's Canadian... See, even our deadites are polite. This is Vinny, played by Maury Chaykin, who's probably the best and most popular actor in this. Anyway, Hal offers to give him some of the satellite's food in exchange for letting him go so he can find a boat and sail somewhere.
Do you think that if there was a sailboat around here, I would be sitting here breathing in radiation?
Well, I don't know. You look like you use Funyuns as cereal and Pabst Blue Ribbon as the milk. The radiation can't be that much worse for you. And turns out the woman in the basement really is polite since she can apparently get out whenever she wants but just chooses not to.
Who are you?
None of your business.
Well, according to IMDb, it's JJ, so can I call you that? And hang on a second. That voice sounds familiar.
You look kind of innocent, but what choice have I got, right?
Had me a boyfriend till I kissed him. Poor boy was in a coma for 3 days.
Okay, the brain had the voice of Beast, so I guess it's appropriate this has Rogue in it. Did Expect No Mercy have any X-Men voice actors? It did? Holy shit! Anyway, Hal offers JJ some of his food if she helps him escape. Alright, let's grab some guns and get the hell out of here.
Well, there's more than food. There's marijuana.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah? Well, they already let him watch porn up there. It figures they'd let him smoke pot too. Why do I get the feeling World War III was started by somebody getting blitzed and pushing the wrong button thinking it was a vending machine?
I don't smoke dope, and I don't like people who do.
Yeah? Well, I don't like you either then. Of course, Jordan's still there, so there might be something else Vinny's interested in.
Say I give you a knife and let you go. You give me 2/3 of the food in this woman?
Okay, but I think she might be dead, unless that doesn't matter to you. And some of the dialogue here is just weird.
What kind of aureolas does she have? Pink, brown, or red?
Red?
Pointed or rounded?
Pointed?
What about the butthole situation? Does it look like the end of a balloon that's just been tied up, or is it more like a gnarly old tree knot? So with the promise of food and red areolas, Vinny sets out with Hal and JJ in his Canadian killdozer vehicle. Did he have this thing before the apocalypse? Because if he didn't, it's pretty impressive he was able to make it with limited resources so quickly. In fact, I'm a little confused on the timeline of this movie. I assume that after the nukes went off, the astronauts were in space for only a few weeks, maybe a few months tops, but the situation down on Earth makes it seem like years have gone by. Speaking of things that don't make sense, how about you get off the road, dumbass? Or don't, it's up to you. Eventually though, Vinny and the others end up getting captured by another faction of survivors, and I see ironic hipster mustaches also managed to survive the apocalypse. These guys also find the remains of the satellite and decide to bring it back to their encampment, although unknown to them, there's still a nuke on board that's set to go off in a few hours. Okay, you know what? Now that they're at the survivors' base, things are starting to look a little more Mad Maxy, except instead of Lord Humongous, we get Degrassi Jan Michael Vincent here.
Tell me, Commander, how you wouldn't happen to know in which direction the prevailing winds blow in Patagonia, would you?
This doesn't have anything to do with the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, does it? Oh well, at least he's not asking more questions about nipples. This is Gideon Hayes, the leader of a militant group of survivors and JJ's ex-boyfriend who takes them all prisoner. Although for a bit of good news, Hal probably won't have to worry about his cellmate trying to bust his cheeks. And hey, look at that, Jordan's alive. She must be disappointed though, she landed in the one post-apocalyptic movie without any bike gangs. Okay, now that everybody's here, time to take a massive exposition dump. So, Gideon's dad was a high-ranking naval officer, and while trying to fly to safety, their helicopter crashed. Gideon and JJ survived, along with a military computer technician named Boomer, who broke his back and is now paralyzed from the waist down. Boomer was the one who caused them to crash here because they want the satellite's computer so they can use it to find the coordinates of a safe zone that's free from radiation.
Everybody got that?
What I really want to know is how much time has gone by.
The day of the war. 2 months ago, I guess it was.
2 months? That's it? Gideon was able to get all of these people to follow him and make this entire shantytown in just 2 months? How the hell did he do that?
He has his ways.
Okay, guess that explains that. And now that Gideon has the satellite's computer, he can finally see where the safe areas are and run Battlezone. Alright, as dated as this movie can be, it was ahead of its time in some ways.
Okay, Boomer.
For example, it's the earliest movie I've seen to use that phrase, and I'm starting to think Gideon might be a bit of an asshole.
Here, let me. Oh!
Don't worry about it, Boomer. The mud just helps seal in the juices. Gideon also wants JJ to come with him to the safe zone, but she's not interested.
I say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's right, Gideon. She doesn't care how many Export-A cigarettes you've stocked up on.
Take her back to her friends, please. Put up a notice that there'll be a trial tomorrow morning.
Prepare to be found guilty of being a stuck-up Stacy who doesn't realize what a total gigachad I am. They might want to hurry up with the trial, though. That nuke is still busy counting down.
All those who find Commander Howe and Dr. Jordan guilty, say aye. Aye! Guilty.
Damn, that was fast. Alright, well, at least jury duty seems to be way less of a pain in the ass after the apocalypse, so that's a positive. Alright, first we're gonna hang the prisoners, and then we're gonna use them for meat in tonight's Sloppy Joes. No more ground muskrat. Wow, looks like everyone's watching this execution. Even Boomer crawled his way out here. Now I have some questions about this next part. Gideon offers to let one of the prisoners go if they pull the lever to hang the others, which Hal volunteers for, but then Boomer shoots Gideon in the leg, giving Hal a chance to make a break for it. Did Hal see Boomer and was trying to stall for time? Was he actually gonna betray the others? The movie never really explains what his plan was here. In any case, Gideon needs Jordan, who tells him she'll only help him if he spares the others, so it looks like there's a stay of execution.
Very nice work, Dr. Jordan. I should take you with me.
Quick question though, what color are your areolas? Instead of morphine, Jordan tries to give Gideon an overdose of potassium, but Gideon figures this out and gives it to her instead. You know what? I think Jordan might be dead for real this time. Gideon also still wants JJ to come with him to the safe zone. Damn, this guy is really hung up on his ex. Get over it, dude. There's plenty of three-eyed fish in the radioactive sea. Good thing Hal remembered Vinny has plenty of guns at his place. Now he just needs to get himself a boat.
That's right, just
Just get off the boat, get in the water now. No, don't touch those guns. Don't do it. Don't pick them up.
Would you just shoot already?
Don't.
There, thank you. And hang on, wasn't there a killdozer in this movie? Hey, there we go. Somewhere the monster truck from Rolling Vengeance is jealous. Now that they got the killdozer and some weapons, Hal and Vinny hand out guns to the population and foment a revolution against Gideon. That's what he gets for hoarding all the cigarettes and booze for himself. And hey, maybe I was wrong about Jordan being dead again. See, look, her eyes are open. Oh wait, never mind, they're closed, she's dead. Not only that, but Gideon's already set sail with JJ.
Can you swim?
This ending showdown is a little anticlimactic. Hal swims to Gideon's sailboat to try and rescue JJ, but Gideon threatens to slit her throat if he doesn't jump off, which he does. Then when Gideon tries to shoot him, JJ just knocks him into the water. That's it? They brought the killdozer back and they don't even kill Gideon with it? I was hoping he was gonna get impaled on this spike thingy or something. This is like if at the end of Mad Max, instead of getting run over by a truck, Toke Hunter ended up being defeated because he just ran out of gas. Okay, that's not quite it for Gideon. There is this next part. Gideon makes his way back to the encampment, and remember that nuke that was counting down?
Should all those be empty?
And there you go. After the nuclear apocalypse, the only way to achieve peace is with more nukes, apparently. So that's DEFCON 4, and yeah, it doesn't quite live up to its poster. This one's in a bit of a weird place for a cult flick. It's not bad enough to be a so bad it's good movie, but it's also not good enough to qualify as a lost classic either. The opening scenes on the satellite are actually pretty effective, and if it had stayed there for the whole movie, this could have been a tense drama about the characters slowly cracking under the realization the world's just ended. Once they get back to Earth, though, the movie gets a lot less interesting. I'll give them props for trying to be a bit more realistic, instead of doing the standard mutants and bikers approach, but stuff like Gideon amassing a huge following in just a couple of months doesn't really make sense given the tone they seem to be going for, and it's too slow for the Mad Max crowd, which is a real shame because once again, it does have an awesome looking poster. Oh well, at least the poster's still less misleading than the one for Star Crystal. Well, that's all for now, but we still have one more Canuxploitation movie left. Until next time.
It's been a while.
What, since you've seen two people have sex on TV?
Oh, since I've seen a woman.
Well, we're now at the final part of my latest Canuxploitation-A-Thon. So far, we've had man-eating brain monsters, virtual reality assassins, and questions about nipples.
What kind of aureolas does she have? Pink, brown, or red?
Red?
Well, believe me when I say, I have saved the most infamous for last, because this is a movie I've wanted to do on this channel for a while. Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe is a 1990 sci-fi action movie from writer-director Damian Lee, who also directed Food of the Gods 2 and Ski School, as well as producing the movie Watchers. In other words, expect him to pop up in a future Canuxploitation-A-Thon. This was also the first starring role for wrestler, actor, and governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura. Although this didn't lead to too many starring roles afterwards for Jesse, because not only does this have the lowest rating on IMDb of any of the movies I've done so far in this Canuxploitation-A-Thon, but you can also find several videos online of people ripping it apart, and it even got the riff tracks treatment back in 2011. For a long time, this movie was only available in crappy VHS transfers, but I managed to snag this limited edition Blu-ray copy. Because if I'm gonna riff an infamously bad Canadian movie, I gotta have that shit in HD. Guardian of the Universe, huh? Well, I guess nobody told him Gamera also had that title. Anyway, time to meet our hero.
Have you ever been vaulted? It involves reinforcement of skeletal and muscle structures by shortwave irradiation and ozone layering to 0.23.
Alright, Jesse, we get it. Navy SEAL training is really hard. Jesse Ventura plays Abraxas, who is a finder, which is some kind of intergalactic cop. Abraxas is after another finder called Secundus, who went rogue and escaped to bumfuck Canada. Gotta admit, nobody'd probably think to look for him there. Just kidding. This is another one of those movies movies where they pretend it's America. What is Secundus trying to do, anyway?
If he mates, the probability is the co-mater will be born.
What, so the guy just wants to get laid? Let him, what's the big deal? I'm also not really sure what kind of training finders go through, but I do know that neither one of these guys can aim worth shit. Secundus is played by Danish bodybuilder and actor Sven Thorsen, who is in everything from Conan the Barbarian, The Running Man, Hard Target, and Mallrats, although in most of those he played henchmen who didn't talk very much. In this movie, he's the main villain who has lots of dialogue, and if you're wondering how that goes...
Abraxas cannot possibly understand my motives. He believes in right and wrong. The only thing that matters is power.
Imagine if Schwarzenegger was permanently stuck in Terminator mode, and that pretty much sums up his acting here. By the way, speaking of Arnold, according to IMDb, apparently he was offered the lead in this movie but chose to do Terminator 2 instead. I have no idea if that's true, but if it is... yeah, he definitely made the right choice there. But hey, that doesn't mean Secundus can't still act like a Terminator. Okay, now say, get out.
Are you a birthing member of the human race?
Or you could just say that.
I need your body.
Hey, smooth one, bro. I can't imagine why this chick isn't totally into you. Hey, get back here. I need your body for birthing purposes.
I really do need your body.
You know, it's kind of hard to riff this movie when most of the dialogue already sounds like jokes I would make. And don't worry, lady, to Secundus's people, breeding just means a quick hand job. Another quirky thing I gotta mention is the soundtrack.
It's over. Right. I win. The girl will bear my child, and he will be the answer.
Why is there sexy saxophone music playing? Maybe it's to distract from this dialogue.
The key is the birth of a co-mater. A co-mater will be able to compute the anti-life equation.
This sounds like if a European wrestler wrote some bad Dune fan fiction. Okay, so the plot is Secundus impregnated that lady with his glowing finger jizz because he wants her to give birth to a child called a co-mater that will know the secret to the anti-life equation, which will enable him to take over the universe, or something.
Everybody got that?
By the way, anti-life equation, huh? Okay, I guess Secundus is actually dark side. And as long as they're taking ideas from other things... Oh, and about that child, not only was the sex really quick, but she goes through an entire pregnancy in 2 minutes and manages to have the kid without either taking her pants off or having him rip. And that's still not even the weirdest thing about this movie. Okay, I can't get over how bizarre the saxophone music is here. Imagine you're watching The Terminator and instead of that classic Terminator theme, Careless Whisper started playing.
Sonia, we want to help you, but this story, it's so hard to believe.
Yeah, well, try following it. Anyway, the woman is called Sonia, and she ends up getting disowned by her parents and forced to raise the child herself, who she names Tommy. So I guess this is now a Lifetime movie drama about a single mother? Cut to 5 years later, and Tommy is now 8 for some reason. And I would say, oh no, this movie has a Kenny, but Tommy doesn't talk, so that's a plus.
I love him so much. But I'm afraid that something terrible is going to happen to him.
Well, a terrible movie's gonna happen, that's for sure. Anyway, Secundus has escaped again. These guys really need to invest in better prisons.
The readouts indicate the child is a co-mater. The boy may be capable of unconsciously computing the anti-life equation.
I really wish any of that meant anything to me. So blah blah blah. You're a loose cannon, Abraxas, but we're gonna give you one last shot.
Abraxas, you must locate the co-mater and terminate it.
Hey, I'll make the Terminator comparisons here, pal. Speaking of better movies, check out how he gets back to Earth.
Travel warps are like wormholes connecting different parts of the universe.
Yeah, that's right. This movie just became 2001 A Canuck Odyssey. They still haven't figured out how to stick the landing, though. Yeah, I think Jesse might have got some water up his nose. Due to some more sci-fi mumbo-jumbo, both Secundus and Abraxas aren't able to take any weapons or technology, other than a living computer they wear on their wrist called an answer box. So there's another idea they swiped from Jack Kirby. Anyway, back in the family drama plotline, Sonia goes to see the principal at Tommy's school and... Wait, is that Jim Belushi? He's in this too?
Well, Mrs. Murray, I'm sorry, but this is a normal school for normal children. His presence is causing a problem with the students.
Why do I get the feeling that Jim got a DUI in Canada and instead of picking up garbage on the side of the road, his punishment was to be in this movie? Or, you know, it could be because Jim was married to the actress playing Sonia at the time, but I like my story better.
Have you ever thought of just telling them to stop it?
No. No, I haven't.
Did you like that scene with Jim Belushi? Good, because after this, he's not in the movie again. And once again, just how American is this movie? As American as a baseball team of bald eagles baked into an apple pie. That's how fucking American. Meanwhile, Abraxas and Secundus make their way through the wilderness, and there's no snow all of a sudden, but one thing's the same. Okay, having a smooth jazz score is a really weird choice for a sci-fi action movie. Imagine if other movies did this.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Oops, wrong James Cameron movie. I forgot this is supposed to be ripping off the Terminator.
Vehicle. Give me the keys.
Your sport utility vehicle. Give it to me. Now, all the other movies I've done for this Canuxsploitation-A-Thon had voice actors from the 90s X-Men cartoon. So, does that mean this one has some too? Well, this guy was the voice of Hairbag. Remember Hairbag? No? Well, he was still in the cartoon, so I'm counting it. Secundus takes the guy's car and Abraxas tries stopping him by hanging onto the roof like an asshole before getting thrown off. But at least the music here is a little more appropriate. See, there you go. Some generic guitar rock is exactly what a generic action movie like this needs. Not that David Sanborn afterbirth they've been playing. And don't worry about Abraxas, he gets a ride. Hey, you know something this movie could really use? 2 bumbling comic relief cops.
How's your girlfriend?
I haven't asked her out yet.
Well, why not, Johnny boy? You're the new kid in town. Probably just holding her breath.
Couldn't they get Mark McKinney and Bruce McCulloch to play these two? I mean, this movie is Canadian. Meanwhile, Secundus goes to a garage so he can recharge his alien Apple Watch, but the guy working there says that's for paying customers only.
What are you doing in my shop? I am recharging my answer box.
Whatever the hell that is.
Okay, I gotta bring this up again. What is with the saxophone music? Instead of fighting, it sounds like these two are about to argue over who gets to use a jug of Valvoline like it's KY jelly.
You're quite a big man. Big enough to take you, pal.
And the dialogue ain't helping. Okay, that's not where this scene goes. But Secundus does make this guy pop pretty quick. Was it good for you too? And as long as I'm making tasteless sex jokes.
My box says VD, trust me.
Your what?
See, between this and the unwanted 2-minute pregnancies, this is why guys always gotta wear a glove when having hand sex.
VD, vibrational detection.
It also has AIDS, automatic interdimensional scanning. Why? What did you think that meant? And I already made a Kids in the Hall reference, so might as well do this.
I'm crushing your head! I'm crushing your head! I'm crushing your head!
Oh, wait a second, I gotta stop with the Canadian references. This is totally America!
Hey, you work here or what?
Yeah, there's a face that says, just go home, lady. Or don't, it's up to you. Luckily, Abraxas gets there, although the way he handles this situation is to just let Secundus take the 2 rent-a-cops' guns and then walk away with the hostage.
Have a nice day.
Don't you mean hasta la vista, baby? Nice work, Abraxas. Not only did Secundus find out where Sonia and Tommy live, but you let him get away again. Now he's one step closer to finding the comida. Speaking of which, looks like Tommy's starting to discover his abilities. For example, he has the power to make early 90s bullies piss their pants. You know, if this kid's parents didn't want him to become a bully, they really shouldn't have given him that haircut.
It's payback time, kid.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck with the kid that made you wet yourself with his mind. I'm sure that'll go well. Okay, so instead of a Kenny, Tommy's actually Carrie. Oh, one other thing I should mention. Initially I thought the snow was just because this movie's Canadian, even if it's pretending to be upstate New York. But all the festive decorations means this takes place around Christmas.
Hi, Mr. Belluccini! Merry Christmas!
Nah, screw it. Hashtag Abraxas is a Christmas movie. Well, now that I know this is a Christmas movie, that helps explain things a little better. You know how you have all your relatives over for Christmas, and your two uncles who still do steroids have a little too much to drink, and they get into a pissing contest over who's tougher, and they start doing the Festivus feat of strength right in the middle of your goddamn living room? I think we've all been there at some point.
You think there's good and bad? There's only power.
There's bad. I'm also noticing a pattern to this movie. Secundus gets somewhere important, Abraxas arrives immediately after him, they fight, Abraxas gets his ass kicked, and Secundus leaves. For a Guardian of the Universe, Abraxas doesn't seem very good at his job. The only reason Secundus doesn't kill him here is because he's the villain in a shitty movie.
I could kill you now. What? I will let you live.
At this point, Sonia finally realizes Tommy's deadbeat father's come back, and it ain't to give her child support. Hopefully Abraxas can explain the situation.
I think one of you space guys, or whatever it is you are, could have dropped me a note or something. Do you ever think about what I'm going through? Or how difficult it is making ends meet? Do you have any idea how much a two-bedroom house costs?
Yeah, sure being a single mom's real difficult and all, but considering the fate of the universe is on the line, you maybe want to tone down the sass there, lady?
We really must leave. We must go.
In other words, come with me if you want to live. Now that they're looking for a safe place to hide out, this will give Abraxas and Sonia some time to get to know each other.
We're going to Maxie's. He grows organic apples, which I buy from him.
Is he a mating partner of yours?
Ah, smooth way of asking if she's got a boyfriend there, Abraxas. You'll be putting your hand on her stomach in no time. And if you thought that was awkward, get a load of what happens after they get there.
Hello. I suppose you're not tired. Do you want to sit up here with me? I'll tell you a story.
Ugh, don't do it, kid.
It's about two men who were partners.
Okay, I know I've been making a lot of gay jokes in this video, but when a movie just tees you up for them like this, sometimes you just gotta go for it. Okay, Tommy, that's enough of that. Time for some age-appropriate awkward flirting.
Are you married?
No. People in my profession are not allowed to marry.
Oh, like priests. Okay, I guess that explains the previous scene. And why is it during the one part where it'd actually be appropriate to play the saxophone music, it's not doing it? Instead, we get some sad piano music. I guess I can see why Sonia's going for Abraxas. She hasn't been with a man since Tommy was born, and even then she still technically didn't get laid. Speaking of which, Secundus stops at a strip club for some reason. Seriously, I don't know what the hell he's doing here. The co-mater's already been born, he doesn't need another birthing person. Best I can figure is he just wants to see some tits. Too bad this movie's rated PG-13 and we don't see any. Your clothes, take them off and give me a private dance in the champagne room. Now. And guess what he does after this? He goes to a diner to get something to eat. Come on, dude, you're supposed to be finding the anti-life equation so you can take over the universe or whatever the plot is. Focus, man.
I'm hungry.
Here's the menu.
Hey, wait a second. I recognize her. That's Helga from Tammy and the T-Rex. Okay, well, that actress liked my Tammy and the T-Rex video. Who knows, maybe she'll like this one too. You're a tall bitch. You want to meet me in the bathroom and practice making a comida? And as if trying to conquer the universe wasn't bad enough, Secundus also doesn't tip.
What is this?
The bill.
Merry Pleasant.
Hashtag Abraxas is a Christmas movie. While this is going on, we have even more awkward seduction happening.
Like taking care of Secundus.
do that.
I've done it before.
Alright, time to see if Jesse really is a sexual Tyrannosaurus.
That was physical contact using an area of the human anatomy pressure sensitive, self-moistening, and located close to the perceived source of thoughts and emotion.
Your answer box sounds a little jealous.
Nah, she's just mad she has VD. By the way, the two comic relief cops haven't done anything in a while, and if you still doubt that this movie totally takes place in America...
My DNA is altered.
What are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, try this one!
Holy shit, maybe this is America. Apparently regular cops carry Uzis on them. Not that it really matters, since even if he's not a robot, Secundus is still basically a Terminator. And that's not just because of the European accent.
Interesting, but that affects him.
The Uzi 9mm.
Anyway, Secundus' new plan is to take over a local school and threaten to kill the kids unless Abraxas brings him the Cometa. So I guess he's just given up on trying to find Tommy himself. And once again, I know I've already made some diddler jokes in this video, but...
I love children.
I'm not a fan of a very Jerry Sandusky Christmas. Oh, and guess what? I'm not done yet.
Your mother told me you have a birthday coming up. I know why you won't speak, Tommy. You're afraid. Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to.
Why are these jokes so easy? I'm also not really sure about Secundus' plan here. Even if he gets Abraxas to go confront him, that's not a guarantee he's gonna bring Tommy with him. I mean, yeah, he does bring Tommy right to him, but that's just because he's an idiot. It has nothing to do with Secundus' plan being any good.
You were born for this moment. You are my creation.
You are the product of my handcom. You know, I think I just figured out my biggest problem with this movie. The dialogue and sci-fi technobabble tries to convince you that this is a big, epic action flick. You know, powerful, nearly immortal beings locked in a titanic struggle with no less than the fate of the universe at stake. Even the movie's poster calls it an adventure across time and space. But the reality is, the movie is just two middle-aged chunkheads slamming into each other across some tiny Canadian mountain town. This is about as epic as an amateur backyard wrestling match.
I knew what Secundus was going to do. Play cat and mouse with the boy.
Yeah, if by play cat and mouse you mean corner him in a creepy warehouse like the villain in a slasher movie.
There's no more hiding. No more running.
I need the anti-life equation so I can stop the Justice League. Or... whatever my plan is. And once again, I gotta bring up the music in this movie. Okay, so the sleazy saxophone is gone, but now they're playing some kind of quasi-Toto song? The hell is this? Seriously, would it have killed him to play a metal song during this part? I'd even accept some Santana. I mean, this movie's already named after a Santana album. And turns out I was wrong about Tommy. Instead of Carrie, he's actually the fire starter.
You are the co-mater.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I meant to say he's the co-mater. Thankfully, Abraxas gets there before Secundus can get him, leading to a fight scene that's shot like it's a montage. And all the slow-mo just makes it more obvious the punches aren't connecting. And do I even need to bring up the music again? Abraxas finally wins a fight for the first time in the movie. Of course, there's some stupid rule that he can't kill Secundus because he's also a finder, even if he's trying to take over the universe.
Can't kill me. I was a finder.
I don't know, Abraxas has ignored lots of rules so far. Go ahead and kill this fucker. Okay, I don't know this, but it seems like Secundus originally wasn't supposed to die, then they changed their minds and had to just superimpose this crappy explosion effect over him. This reminds me of the death scenes in The Dark. Oh well, the point is Secundus is gone and Tommy is saved. Abraxas also doesn't seem to be in much trouble even when he decides to stay on Earth.
A travel warp will appear in 2 minutes to transport you to your next assignment.
I cannot leave.
I kissed a girl, and I liked it. Even the cops don't seem too freaked out by what's happened.
How am I gonna write this up in a report?
I think you should scale it down to acceptable proportions.
Yeah, I think the movie's budget already did that. So now Abraxas is on Earth guarding Tommy, where I'm sure he'll have many further adventures that we won't see since this didn't get any sequels.
I'm really glad you're staying.
Me too.
Oh, and the kid talks at the end. Cool. Look, I've done movies on this channel that are both more poorly made and more boring than this one, so it's far from the worst one I've ever done. However, I can see why this has a reputation as an infamously bad movie. It's got a convoluted sci-fi story that is way too ambitious for its low budget, which it tries to overcompensate for with a bunch of technobabble gobbledygook dialogue. Both the hero and villain seem like robots, even though they're not, and the action sequences are all clumsy and unexciting. That said, if you get some beers and some friends together, you can have fun riffing this one, and watching two guys who frequently worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger make their own low-budget Terminator knockoff. Put it on a double feature with Things. After all, they both have the same rating on IMDb. So there we go, another Canuxsploitation-A-Thon done. Hopefully it doesn't take 4 years for me to get to the next one. Until next time.
When students are not paying attention or pretending they don't hear me, I try to catch them off guard. I go, ah!